with me while I tell you stories I've heard from people who currently work at my job now about working in a prison. No, you were not ready for this one. Obviously, like in any prison, like contraband and drugs are a huge problem. However, they're an even bigger problem now because they have drones that carry the stuff over, and literally the inmates will just open their windows and like stick their hands out and grab the contraband. And now the problem is that these drones, because some of, I guess like something about our technology or something can't like let me restart that. Technology on these drones is so like high tech that like I guess like the security or whatever isn't picking all of them up. It's picking up some of them but not all of them. And also these drones are starting to be able to carry more weight, which now brings the concern of people dropping a pew pew from the drones to the inmates and possibly harming staff or other inmates or all of the above with it. One scares the shit out of me, I'm not gonna lie to you. The prison I work at has windows because it's such an old facility, there's no AC. One is, which I guess is apparently pretty common, is staff trafficking things for the inmates. So like, they said like, if you ever have your Cash App like out, it's like a big red flag because that's how like these people get paid and pay people is through their Cash App for passing drugs and whatnot. Also Suboxone is very popular in the prisons, as well as K2. K2 kind of surprised me. I didn't know people still did synthetic marijuana, but apparently inmates do. I don't know. Having sexual relations with the inmates. Like, I'm talking like married staff too. Also, Dr. Jart, I literally love you so much. Please put me on your PR list. And this stuff, guys, this Ceramidin Skin Barrier Serum Toner, literally such a godsend for severely dry and sensitive skin girlies. It is a splurge, but I really like it. Dr. Jart, I love you. The girl who was training me today told me, or told all of us in my training group, that I guess like they went into the stairwell and there was a case manager, an inmate in the stairwell. There's no way those inmates are getting thoroughly clean in prison. And I was learning how to do full body restraints, which is like the belly chain and stuff like that. And she told us to make sure we keep the chain, like, don't let it fall like really long, and like keep it like wrapped up close to us, because there was a time a long time ago, but it still happened, where a sheriff was putting an inmate in full restraints and he let the chain like droop, and the inmate took it and choked him with it, and it killed him. If I paid attention to anything in my training today, it was I was not letting that shackle lead get long, because Also heard, because also the prison I'm at is strictly males that literally, obviously, like, they're freaking pervs. Like, they're, like, whenever they see a woman, they smell the estrogen and they go freaking feral. But I guess, like, sometimes, like, an inmate will even pass a paper to a female, like, staff member, and if she touches it, they'll, like, on that just from like us touching the same piece of paper as them. Oh my god. Ew. That one truly doesn't even make sense to me. When they told me that, I was like, there's no freaking way. Like, y'all, it gets to a point. Like, at some point, are y'all making this up? I heard that be prepared to be sexualized, hypersexualized, and sexually harassed all of the time, being a female. Because also, I mean, I haven't been to my unit yet. I've just been like at the training building, but from what I've seen, at least in corrections, like the COs, there's a lot of male. There is a lot of testosterone in that prison, inmates and staff. It is very male heavy. It's like low-key getting to me. I don't even know how to explain it, but just like, and they're like manly men too. I don't know how to explain that. Like, they're very cisgender hetero. That's the only way I know how to describe it. And if you get it, then you get it. That's great. And if you don't, I don't know how to explain that to you. I don't know how to teach that to you. Well, my eczema came back on this eye. I woke up and it looked like I got punched. Love that for me. Anyways, that's all I have so far, but I'm sure this series could go on and on and on and on for as long as I freaking work at this prison. So on that note, love you, bye! You may know, before I worked at the prison, I worked in the psych ward, the adolescent psych ward. So these are stories from when I worked in the psych ward. I had given a girl consequences, so she was evidently really mad at me, and she knew I had a boyfriend, so she stormed back onto the unit, and she left the unit, and then she came back onto the unit and started screaming at me. She started screaming at me and was like, that's why your boyfriend cheated on you, da-da-da-da, he had a whole nother bee bent over, all this crazy stuff, and was like smiling and laughing. Mind you, none of it was true. She just like made this up on her own doing, like going to other staff and telling them the same thing. Like, girl, are you okay? Do I need to call someone for you? Another time, this is a while ago, this is probably when I first started working there. Girl A was mad at girl B, and so girl A went into the bathroom and she was on her cycle and wrote girl B's name on the bathroom wall in her own period fluids. Can't make that up. One time there was a physical fight over a cheese stick. Again, really cannot make this up, even if I tried my hardest. One time the boys were picking at the wires in the water fountain and using it to like tea bags. There was another time a boy was cheeking his meds and telling everybody else on the unit to cheek their meds, and they were pretty much like running their own little drug ring on the unit. These are teenagers. Let's remember, these are teenagers. Like, so much crazy stuff happened there when I worked there that it honestly just like became normalized. It was just like a normal freaking Tuesday for me. So I feel like I'm not remembering a fraction of the stories that I have because, again, working in a psych ward, shit like that happens every single day. But I don't have any more stories from prison yet because I'm still training. So I figured, why not share a little bit of my pastime? Love you, bye!
Okay, get ready with me while I talk about how I caught my dad cheating, and how he took my car. Little disclaimer, whether you know me or you don't know me, I know that this is a lot to be sharing on social media, but this is my story. This happened to me, and I've just been always afraid to kind of share that. So this is just kind of me like taking this back and just sharing my story. I just think that I should be allowed to share my story and not be scared, and I'm sure that this happens to other people in, 100 different ways, so just knowing that you're not alone. And I don't really know if this is gonna get any views. If it doesn't, I'm probably just gonna delete it because that's like weird if it just gets like 5 views, so. Okay, but I'll just stop talking about that and get right into it. So this is back in 2022, in October, around this time. I was 16 at the time. And just a little like background on my dad and the woman. Me and my dad were always really, really close, had a great relationship, but overall, and as I've grown, I've realized that he was really narcissistic, had some tendencies to be like emotionally abusive. He just had some issues and was just not the nicest person. And the woman, we will call her Gina. Gina was a family friend. She was actually my dad's childhood best friend's daughter. I know, like, whole thing. I'm sorry if you hear my stomach growling, by the way. But yes, so my dad was at this time like in his like late 50s, and she was in, I think, like her 30s. So not like an illegal age difference, but definitely a weird one, especially because he literally watched her grow up and like saw her as a baby in diapers and everything, so I still think it's pretty fucking weird. So anyways, they were, close, obviously. She moved down to Texas, which should have been the first red flag that she moved like closer to us. But she's pretty much like always been in my life. Like, I considered her to be like a older sister, honestly. And so with her being so close, she was always coming over, and also another person in this story is going to be my stepmom. Her and my dad are now obviously divorced, but I still consider her to be my mother. We will call her, I'm just gonna call her stepmom because you know, I consider her my mom. I always will. But ever since that she's been in my life, she's just been so warm and welcoming, and honestly made my life much better. I really needed a parental figure like her. And yeah, she's just the sweetest person you'll ever meet. And she got my dad through cancer. My dad's had cancer multiple times, and she has helped him through it, financially supporting us. So I just want to preface that this is an amazing woman. Okay, so that's all the background. But like I said, this happened in October 2022. At this time, my parents divorced still. I'm going back and forth to my parents' house. And this day in particular, my stepmom was out of town traveling for work. And I was going to go to my mom's this night, but I realized that I had left my like overnight bag because I just brought stuff over. So I realized that I had left my bag, so I just was at school. I gave my dad a quick text like, hey, I'm gonna come back to the house after school. I have to get my bag. And he's like, yeah, cool, all right. And so then I drive over there in my new Subaru car, which we'll get to later, that I got for my 16th birthday from my dad and from my stepmom. I drive over in it with my boyfriend, who I'm still currently with, and I'm just like, okay, just staying here. I'm just gonna go grab my bag. So I walk in and I catch him and Gina together, which is obviously traumatizing in itself. And I just didn't know what to say. Again, I was 16, obviously shocking, and I didn't know what to do. I just kind of stormed out, and I kind of slammed the door so that they would kind of know, like, oh shit, you know, she's here. But I just didn't know how to confront it in that moment, so I just wanted to let them know that I was here, but I mean, what do you do in that situation? So I slam the door, I drive off, I'm like hyperventilating, I'm freaking out. My boyfriend's like, what's wrong? What happened? And, you know, we finally pull over and I tell him like what I saw. And then I get a text from my dad and he's like, come back. And like, might be hard to understand for some people, but my dad, again, was very narcissistic. He's very manipulative, and at this point, honestly, in my life, like, I was so brainwashed by him, and honestly scared. Like, I was just scared of him. So yes, I drive back to the house, and I walk in, and she is nowhere to be found. I hear her like crying in another room in the house. And my dad's just there, and at this point we're talking in the kitchen, and I am just like obviously upset, freaking out. And long story short with that, I basically tell him, are you going to tell my stepmom? And he is like, no. And I love her so much, and I was like, well, then I am going to tell her if you don't. Also, sorry if you hear my cat. But anyway, I basically tell him I'm going to if you don't. And at that point, he threatens me, tells me that my life will change. My life will basically not be the same, like in a bad way. And again, at this point, like I am just so brainwashed and scared of him that, you know, I just wanted to leave at this point, you know. So also, I do have some partial like memory loss when it comes to like childhood things, and also this situation. I just think it's my brain's way of coping. So I'm not really sure how that exchange ended, but I do end up leaving. I leave, and obviously you can imagine those next couple of weeks were really rough for me. So I do not end up telling my stepmom at this point because I was scared and threatened by my dad. So life just kind of continues as normal. And I say as normal, I was severely depressed. My boyfriend said that like, I have never been like that before. I was just so depressed and anxious and didn't know what to do. So at this point, she is still like regularly coming over, not as much. And there's obviously just some strain between me and my dad. He was also really mean and abusive to my stepmom. So he was just being even more mean than usual. Which obviously made me feel awful. So it was just a really, really hard time in my life, and I was super conflicted and scared. I didn't know who to talk to. But he was continuing to be even more abusive and mean to her. And to me, our relationship just kind of turned cold at that point. So then skip to December of 2022. This is around Christmas time, actually on Christmas. He has the balls to invite Gina over for Christmas, which she comes over, which is crazy to do that. She comes over, my stepmom like gives her gifts, allows her in her house, like it's crazy, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, this is the worst day of my life. And she walks into my room as I'm getting ready, and kind of just tries to apologize, which was so half-assed and so pathetic, honestly. And my dad found out about this, and he was upset at me because I was not accepting their apologies. And so I just kind of have this guilt and shame over my head. And then in December, my friend passed away, so my life just got worse and worse. And I'm running out of time, so I'm gonna have to do this in parts because it's a long story. If this gets any attention, I guess I will. But yeah, to be continued. Part 2 of Get Ready With Me while I talk about how I caught my dad cheating. So I do think that part 1 got enough comments and views and stuff to post the part 2. So this is gonna be part 2, and there are more parts to come because this is a really long story. There's just more and more. It just kind of gets worse. So there will be more parts. So just stay tuned. And I did all the parts in one sitting. So I'm in the same outfit the whole time. Just ignore that. Thank you so much for listening to my story and taking the time to, comment and support. It really means a lot, and this has taken a lot out of me to share my story and just kind of be open with it. Okay, so we kind of left off, if you're watching this, like, right on it. You'll know where we left off. I'm not gonna reiterate all of it. So anywho, just picking up from that point, I'm not sure like what month this is at this time. A couple months have gone by, and at this point I'm just kind of living with my mom. I'm just not really having a relationship with my dad, and at this point they had just been having so much conflict, my stepmom and my dad, that they actually got divorced. Again, she still doesn't know, but obviously she has her suspicions because, to be quite honest, they are not being very discreet about it. I'm not really seeing my dad too much. I've kind of got slow on contact with him. He continues to send me like awful text messages, being super passive aggressive. And he also moves into a house with Gina, with the woman. So it's like, at this point, I don't know who you're trying to fool. And she's also like actively posting on social media, like them together, being super happy and proud of it. And it's really disgusting, honestly, to be proud of something like that and to just do that to a woman who, supported you so much and was so kind to you. And so at this point, like, I'm still super close with my stepmom to this day. But we decide to just kind of have a little dinner, just us, and we go out to dinner, and I don't really know how it happened. It just was continuing to eat at me, and I felt that she deserved the truth. So I end up at this dinner telling my stepmom what I saw and just kind of telling her the whole story. I felt so awful and guilty that I had not told her something before, but again, she's just this amazing person, and she was not upset at me at all. She was so sorry that I had experienced something like this, and I just think it brought us so much closer together. And obviously that relief of telling her, it's what she deserved to know, and I wish that I had said something sooner. But at this point I'd kind of separated a little bit from my dad, so I wasn't so much under his control. So I felt like I could, I was kind of coming out of my shell of like that brainwashing. And if you have a narcissistic, manipulative parent or a partner, you know what that's like. Like you're just like a puppet, honestly. So I tell her, and at this point, like me and my dad are just kind of trying to salvage whatever relationship, quote unquote, we have left. So she tells me like I'm not gonna tell your dad that you told me because I still want you two to have a relationship. And I was just like, okay, I'm kind of trying not to tell him that she knows either, because at this point they're divorced and there just wasn't a whole lot of point. But I do try to salvage the relationship with my dad. We kind of have a few moments. He like wants me to stay over at their house, like him and the woman, and I'm just like, ugh. And I obviously refuse that and tell him that it makes me uncomfortable. And me just still being upset about the situation, obviously I would be, anyone would be, is making him like increasingly more upset. So he kind of confronts me, like he makes me come over to the house and me and him talk, and I just kind of lay it all out. I'm like, you treated me like this when I was a kid, put so much pressure on me, blah, blah, blah. I just kind of let my heart out to him in the hopes that he kind of has a oh shit moment. And he gets upset and kind of pretends to have that moment. And we had a hug, like it was really great. I thought that maybe things would get better and he would change. But he, of course, proved me wrong. I still think to this day he thinks that he did no wrong, and he will stand on that until he dies. Like, he does not think that he did anything wrong in his mind. And I'm also not really talking to Gina at this point, like this is my dad who I'm trying to have a relationship with, at the end of the day, it's my dad, but her, why do I need to talk to her? So anyway, that happens, and then also he has my boyfriend come over, and he talks to my boyfriend and kind of tells him like, basically you're her boyfriend and you should be wanting her to have a relationship with her dad, like kind of blaming him. I don't know what his thought process was behind it, but I was literally like, don't blame him, like if it's not the consequences of your actions. And I'll kind of show on here like some of texts, things that I have gotten from him at that point in time, just so you kind of get an idea of who he is. And at this point, I'm pretty separated from him. I don't really have anything connecting me to him other than my car. So I had this beautiful Subaru WRX. I loved this car with everything. My first car ever. I named her Daphne. It was a gift from my dad and my stepmom, but my dad has not worked a job and I don't know how long. So it was really for my stepmom. And now at this point, it is fully paid off. There are no payments on it. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that my dad is detaching from me as well. And I just kind of got a gut feeling that I should probably get this car in my name. So I have a conversation with him, tell him that, I just want to take on the responsibility of it. I'm getting to be 18. I would really like this car to be in my name. And he, of course, says no to that. And I'm like actively on the phone with him, texting my stepmom as this is happening. And he's telling me that, like, it still has all these payments on it, blah, blah. And I tell him, like, okay, well, whatever payments, I'll pay for it, it's fine. But he's just denying for whatever reason. And then I literally sent him a screenshot that my stepmom had texted me of the balance of the car, like saying zero, saying that it was fully paid off. So he still does not allow me to have the car in my name, and there's not really much I could do about that at that point. The car was in his name, so I couldn't do anything. So then I get a text one day from him saying, I'm having someone, which this is so stupid, but I'm having someone from Subaru come to check out, like, the insurance to look at the hail damage on the cars. So bring your car over so I can have them look at it. And I'm not stupid. I'm not. And I was like, okay, he's gonna take my car. So I was like, okay, well, I am starting esthetician school on Monday. I'll need the car back by then. I need transportation. And I, just to be safe, I took everything out of my car. You know, I ended up parking it over there. You know, I didn't even see him. And I forgot to mention this too. He took with him to his new house with his girl, my childhood cat, my pet. So I drop off the car and days go by, I hear nothing. I am texting him, hey, where's the car? I need it, it's Monday, you know, whatever. And so then I want to say like a week or two goes by, and at this point, ghosted. I know I'm not getting this car back. And that is the moment that I never heard from him again. And he also moved, so he just took my car and ghosted me. And again, like, I was trying to go to school, I was trying to have a life for myself, and I had no transportation. Thank God my boyfriend's family is so kind and lent me one of their work trucks to drive. But yeah, you know, out of everything that happened, this was just kind of like the nail in the coffin. It hurt so deeply. And just the fact that, you know, this was the last time that I had heard from my dad, you know, by text or anything. That day, I kind of had a feeling, and I asked him if I could come inside to see Cleo, my pet. He then denied it, saying that he was on a work meeting. Again, he does not have a job. So he stole my car, ghosted me, and also took my pet away from me. She's also old, so I probably will never see her again. There's also a couple things that I did forget to mention. I didn't tell me where they were gonna move, but he literally took all of my like childhood toys, boxes of my things that he had, and just put them on his front yard and his front porch, basically. Not really the yard, but like on the porch. And say anything to me, say hi to me. It just was very cold, and put my boxes of things just out on his porch. This moment in time, I was, again, still trying to remain in contact with him when I could, and he was just very passive-aggressive still, and my boyfriend had done a promposal for me, super cute, and so I sent it to my dad, and this is what he responded with. This is a picture of my cat, and I had to kind of blur it or cover it, but it's his by my cat. I don't know, I guess this was meant to be funny, like that whole, ooh, dad's, you know, upset at the boyfriend, like that whole thing. I don't really know. I didn't find it funny, thought it was just very concerning. So yeah, I forgot to mention that in this video, so. Subaru, if you see this, I miss my car. Please let me know if there's any way to get that car back. And I'm running out of time, but part 3, I actually confronted the woman. So the story gets worse. There's more to it, so stay tuned. Comment if you want to see part 3.
Story time on how I found out that my ex-boyfriend had cheated on me with not one but 2 girls during our relationship. So a little backstory, my boyfriend and I started doing long distance at the end of December, beginning of January. Now there's a lot to unpack here, so we're gonna have to do multiple parts. We're gonna start at the beginning. He and I met on Tinder at the end of September, and it was like we hit the ground hard and fast with our relationship. He seemed great. We seemed like a perfect fit for each other. We were going on dates. Within a month, he had asked me to be his girlfriend. He was very intentional. We would go to church together. We'd talk about God. Like, it literally seemed like a perfect relationship, and I was like, God, like, this is everything I've prayed for in a man. In return, my ex had also said things several times about, like, no, I feel like we're meant to be, like, this is from God, blah, blah, blah. So then in November, he tells me that he just found out his dad was diagnosed with cancer. And then fast forward to December, like right before Christmas, actually, he came over to my place because he said there were things we needed to talk about. And basically he informed me that with his dad's situation, and then he told me that at the start of the new year, his job, which he's a veterinarian, okay? Anyways, he said that his job was letting him go, blah, blah, blah. All right, so he's originally from South Carolina, and that's where all of his family is. So he told me he felt like just with his dad and losing his job that he needed to move back home to be with his family. And I was like, totally understandable. He told me he wanted to pursue long distance if that was something I was good with. We talked about it. We're like, yeah, let's keep doing this. Like, we'll do long distance, right? He's only like 6-7 hours away from where I'm currently at. So like, that would be doable, right? Anyways, so January comes, he had moved back home, and he had been pretty distant, like not communicating as much. And I was like, you know what, there's a lot of big life changes, moving, all this stuff, like I'll cut him a little slack, things will get better over time. So then he ghosted me for almost 2.5, 3 weeks, I think, like absolute nothing. And then I get a text from him during the middle of the day at work with him breaking up with me. Anyways, so his reasons for breaking up with me basically were with having to take care of his dad and starting a new job and being in a new place, like all this stuff. He said he just didn't feel like he had the time to invest into a relationship right now, that he needed to work on some things on his own, but that maybe potentially down the road we could get back together. We just kind of have to see what the future holds. So I'm like, okay, cool, those are valid reasons. I thought we had something special, so I was like, yeah, like when things kind of calm down, maybe we'll get back together. Okay, so he had broken up with me on February 4th. So fast forward to beginning, like very beginning of March, like March 1st or something. I'm on Facebook, and on his profile, on his Facebook page, I see that he's in a relationship. And so I click on her page, and imagine my surprise when I found out that literally 2 weeks after he broke up with me, he was in a brand new relationship. Facebook official too. So I texted him and I called him out, and obviously I was like, I have questions, what the heck? Of course he's not responding, he's not answering. So I am like hurt. I'm like, okay, so he lied about his reasons for breaking up with me. He must have been seeing this other girl for him to jump into a new relationship that quickly. He's not answering me. I have a million questions in my head. Like I was bawling my eyes out, going through the trenches, like just, I was miserable. Well, then finally, a week and a half later, he texted me and he's like, what questions do you have? And as we're texting, he's just lying through his teeth, not giving me answers, like whatever. So then the next night, my best friend calls me and she was like, hey, I was looking online and you know that he got a DUI back in the summer? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. He never said anything. So then apparently his court date was in October. So he and I had been seeing each other at this point, still had no clue about any of this going on. So I texted him and I was like, hey, like you could have told me about that. Why we were together at the time, that was stuff that I should have been like, had to know about, right? So he texted me back and he was like, you're right, I should have told you, blah, blah, blah. Tells me his side of the stuff. And then he was like, I'm aware that you talked to blank, which is his new girlfriend. He's like, I'm aware that you guys talked last night. She and I never talked. So I was confused and I told him, I was like, we haven't talked. And he was just like, oh, understood. So then after we had finished talking, like communication done, I went to Facebook and I went to both of their profiles and saw that they were no longer in a relationship. So I'm like, huh, she must have broke up with him. So that night I messaged her on Facebook and I was just like, hey, I don't know how else to say this, but I was his most recent girlfriend before you. I saw you guys broke up and like, I just wanted to hear your side of the story if you're okay with that. And she was so nice. She was so sweet. And she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. I broke up with him last night after I found out that you guys had been dating. And then she gives me a timeline of when they met to up until then. So mind you, he said he was moving back home January 1st. According to her, they matched on Hinge on the 4th and went on their first date on the 10th of January. And then he didn't break up with me until February 4th. He asked her to be his girlfriend on like February 28th or something. So the whole month of January, he was like actively dating and seeing this woman. Then she told me that just a couple days prior to her and I talking, she found out that 3 days after their first date, he hooked up with another girl. Apparently he and this girl used to intern together like years and years ago, and they were friends with benefits or something, and they were rekindling when he moved back to South Carolina. I don't know. So at this point I'm like, okay, he cheated on me with 2 girls. So she and I are talking, we're texting, we're sending screenshots, asking each other questions, and it turns out that he was saying word for word the exact same stuff to her that he had said to me. And like we had screenshot text message to prove it. He was doing the exact same stuff for her that he did for me. Turns out we went on basically the exact same first date as well. Anyways, so a couple days prior to that, I had made a TikTok where I had posted, it was like a trend, and I had posted a picture where he and I were holding hands. Well, she had seen that TikTok apparently, and the night before she'd called him up and asked who I was. And according to her, he denied knowing me 2 times. He was like, I don't know a Katie, I don't know a Katie. And then finally he admitted to everything. And she said she told him that she had evidence of everything because she wanted him to fess up, and he did. So that's why he thought she and I had talked, even though we never did. He just assumed that that's how she knew about me. So then that night as we're talking, she had made a TikTok, and it was of them. And she had posted in the caption, little did I know he had a girlfriend. Well, apparently one of his coworkers saw that video and called him out on it. So apparently he is like freaking out. He's trying to get a hold of her, begging her to take the video down, begging for a conversation, like trying to talk while she is sending me screenshots of their conversation, like as it's happening. So he's like begging, pleading for a conversation. He's asking her like, don't I at least get closure? Can't we talk about this? This isn't professional. Please take the video down, blah, blah, blah. So then she said, finally, she's talking on the phone with him. She's like, I'm giving him hell right now for his behavior, his character, how he treated you, how he treated me, how he treated the other girl. Like, there's a whole thing. Eventually she takes the video down. But yeah, that kind of just sums it all up. So basically he lied during our whole relationship. He was cheating on me for at least a good month. Who knows if he cheated on me while he was still here with other girls. I don't know. I never will know. And the crazy thing is he appeared to be Christian. He claims to be Christian. I full-heartedly thought he was a genuine man of God. He's a veterinarian. He's very attractive. Like he volunteers. He's a Kappa. He's part of Kappa Alpha Psi. Like, he appears to be this great guy. And he had me fooled. He had her fooled. So all I'm saying is, if you're in South Carolina, watch out.
Is your crazy family dinner story? I'll go first. So this takes place at my college graduation, the night before my college graduation. There are 7 of us. Myself, my sister, my mom, my high school best friend, a family friend, my dad, and my former stepmother, who was still married to my dad at this point. So I had made us reservations for this place about half an hour away from where my school was, because there weren't like a ton of places actually near my school that I wanted to go to for like my nice graduation dinner, you know, the night before my graduation. So we all meet 30 minutes away from where my university is. So I drive there on my own. My best friend Leah drives straight from where she lives in Virginia there. My mom, my sister, and our family friend go from their hotel, and they were staying in that area, so it was a very short drive for them. And my dad and my stepmom also show up. And we kind of show up in segments. So I'm the first one there, followed by my dad and my sister. Like, it's we all get there relatively at the same time. There was a party ahead of us of 9 people that are not all there at the same time, but they check in before us. So they get seated. We don't get seated for 45 minutes. I'm fighting with my dad. He's telling me that the dress that I've got on is like too low cut for my graduation dinner. My sister is fighting with my stepmother because my sister brought a book to read, and my stepmother is like, you need to be more engaged. And my sister's like, fuck you. My mom and my stepmom aren't talking because why would you talk to your ex-husband's new wife? And so my best friend is like trying to step in and kind of de-escalate things. It's a clusterfuck. We end up waiting 45 minutes after our original reservation just to be seated. I end up having a drink at the bar. I think Leah has a drink at the bar as well, because of course this is with Leah. And my mom does as well. We finally get seated. Leah and I have been looking over the menu, and we immediately order an appetizer. Everybody else just kind of orders drinks. My dad gets a whole bottle of red wine to split, you know, between the like adults of the table. It is slow. Okay, there's the party of 9, the other party of 9. There is us, and there's a couple other tables. We have just gotten our drinks, we're eating our appetizer, and then all of a sudden there's a scream from this open kitchen. And I look back and I see blood literally squirt up into the air. And then this as a body basically hits every single thing possible on his way down. And then the screams erupt. I freak out because I'm like, oh my God. And I've already been stressed. I've already been like dealing with other things. And I have narcolepsy with cataplexy. So I go into a cataplectic episode. Mom quite literally catches my face like this and holds me up like that. At the exact same time, my dad, having been startled by this scream, knocks his full glass of red wine over into my sister's lap. And the family friend does the exact same thing to my ex-stepmother. There's wine everywhere. I'm having a medical episode. Somebody from the kitchen's yelling, call 911. The other tables are honestly just eating their food. They're not really doing much. It turns out that the head chef had a seizure, was holding a knife, so ended up like cutting part of his hand, fell onto the hot stove. This man like hit the hot stove with his face and then bounced onto the floor. Obviously still having a seizure, not in a good state of any kind. The crazy part is almost every single waitress there was studying to become a nurse. So they have this entire staff of like women in nursing school who are now attending to him. They're calling 911, they're getting him onto his side, they're already like staunching the wound, they're turning the stove off. All of this is going on. And obviously there is a medical emergency going on. So the kitchen is closed. We have not eaten. We are an hour and a half past our reservation. And our very lovely waitress, one of the people that was like helping out the man, she was like, so our kitchen is closed. We can't serve your food. We're gonna obviously comp all of your tickets. You're not gonna pay for anything. We're like, thanks. And then she ended up giving us a free bottle of wine. And so it's 9:30 at night. We are scrambling to find a restaurant that's still open that will serve us food. So I find a cheesecake factory nearby. And we split up into multiple cars because that was the whole car ordeal as well. And we end up at this cheesecake factory that's like 6 minutes down the road. And I walk in, I'm disheveled because I'm unhappy, I'm hungry, and like we just had a medical emergency that gave me a medical issue. And it was just such a big, like, if it could have gone wrong, it went wrong. The man ended up okay. I did circle back later and I did check and he was okay. So we walk into this cheesecake factory. Again, it's like 9:30 at night. They are closing their kitchen and I walk in, I'm like, we have a party of 7. And he goes, we're not. And I go, I'm so sorry, but let me explain. We were at my graduation dinner. I literally graduate in the morning when the chef at the other restaurant we were at had a medical emergency. We need entrees. We have not eaten. This is my graduation dinner. I'm begging you. Like, we will be in and out. And he was like, yeah, so follow me. So we ended up getting seated. We got a round of free drinks because of like the nonsense that we were going through. We ate and ended up being very merry. It's just like, of course, my graduation dinner of all things has such a chain of events where everything seems to go wrong because it wouldn't really be my life without it.
Get ready with me while I tell y'all about the man who's been sending my boyfriend unsolicited nudes. Alright, I'm already almost ready, but I still want to tell y'all this story. So basically, there's this guy who my boyfriend is a mutual friend with, okay? He is gay, and recently he sent my boyfriend a video of his ass, okay? And my boyfriend responded to that video by saying like, whoa bro, I don't swing that way, I have a girlfriend, right? And I kind of told my boyfriend, I was like, don't block him yet, like see if this goes any further, which maybe that was my first mistake, I don't know. Boyfriend leaves one open, right? Doesn't text him. Again, my boyfriend is in his car and he opens up a snap and it's this man naked in the mirror. He was kind of like grabbing himself, so you like didn't really see his junk, but still disgusting. And my boyfriend has proof of it because he turned the camera to his dash cam and he like showed it, and then he like went to the next snap, like clicked out of that snap, and the next snap was him being like, I'm so sorry, like I won't do it again, like being all weird. And my boyfriend just left that one on open. He didn't want to interact. A few days go by, and then if I'm remembering correctly, he sent my boyfriend one more thing, but I could be wrong, so don't take my word for it. This is where it gets good. I work as a server. I'm not gonna tell y'all where because I'm not getting myself in trouble, but I work as a server, and this one particular night, this was on Friday last week, I look over and the man who's been sending my boyfriend these photos is at the bar, right? So I go up to him and I just super calmly, I go, hey, do you know Bear Rushing? Which is my boyfriend's name. And then he like leans back in his seat and looks like holy fuck, I've been caught, right? And he goes, kind of. And I go, oh, well, I'm his girlfriend, and the things you've been sending him are really weird, really funny, but you're weird. And then I kind of turn away, and I was near the well, so I was waiting for the drinks for my table. And as I'm waiting, he turns to me, and he's trying to, like, gain his power back, like, and he goes, excuse me. And I turn, like, and he's like, can you get me ranch? And, like, me and, like, in my server, like, go, I was like, sure. Why did I say yes? This man was trying to run me around. But I go and get him the ranch, and as I'm getting it, I kind of like had a little script in my head. I was like, all right, this is what I'm going to say. But then I go to the bar, and I bring him his ranch. And when I set it down at the bar, he says, oh, I actually need one more ranch for the guy over there. Like, he needs a ranch. Why the fuck would I get that ranch? And I said, I'll get it, but stop sending your ass to my boyfriend. And I said it loud enough for like the guy next to him to hear it, so I know this man was embarrassed. And then I looked at the bartender and I was like, get him ranch. Like, I'm not gonna get him fucking ranch. And then he texts my boyfriend on Snapchat and he goes, your girlfriend just came up to me when I was trying to eat my dinner. She must be so worried. And my boyfriend was just like, what did she say? And then he reiterated the entire thing that I just told y'all, but he includes in his little message, I told that bitch to get me ranch. Okay, baby, we can play that game, right? And then he says, this makes me tempted to send more. And then he sent a snap, and my boyfriend waited for me to get to his house to see the snap. And again, I have proof of every single one of these conversations, snaps, everything. Real quick, I want to add that every single piece of documentation that I have of this has not been sent out to anyone. It will not be like sent out or shown to any of my peers or anything. We are only documenting it for like legal purposes and like proof of like this harassment. So it's not being used for any like malicious type of blackmail. And we opened the snap and it was just him like doing a gesture with his mouth implying that he wanted to have a pee-pee in it. And, you know, that's when we were fed up. And then my boyfriend was like, you're a freak. Don't talk to me anymore. And he texted back and he goes, oh, that must have been the girlfriend. And damn right, I wrote it up with my boyfriend. Like, we're gonna, yeah, who cares? Like, and then we blocked him, right? But it has me thinking, you want to run me around and call me a little bitch? I can show you bitch. This is where I get back at him because you don't call me a little bitch. I can show you a little bitch. So basically he is signed with like a modeling and acting agency. I won't say which one it is because I don't want to make the agency look bad, but he also has a job at a hair salon from what I've been told. So I'm thinking that I send each of these places that he's involved with the proof of sending unsolicited nude images to people to let them know what their talent is doing and what their employee is doing. And then he can call me a little bitch because I'm not going to entertain him anymore by like lashing out on him and telling him not to do that and whatever. I'm gonna come from the inside out. Baby, you wanna see bitch? I will show you bitch. And he has done this to multiple people who he went to high school with who live in our area, several men have told me that he has done the exact same thing to them. So, baby, you're not getting away with it this time. But yeah, let me know what you guys would do. And honestly, if it really comes down to it, if I feel like it, maybe I'll do a police report too. I don't know. It depends on if he decides to do anything else. But yeah, let me know what y'all would do. Okay, hope y'all enjoyed this story because it's really interesting to me.
Last night, me and my sister were sexually assaulted by a man at AM/FM Lounge in Dallas, Texas. We were there for a Wenya concert. And I just wanted to show you who he is, first of all. So this is his picture. So this is him. This is his girlfriend. This is a screenshot from a video. So we don't have any good pictures of him, but this is the best that I have. So if you know who this man is, get ready, because I want to preface this by saying I don't want to hear your opinion about what I could have done differently. I shouldn't have been sexually assaulted, and my sister shouldn't have been sexually assaulted, so I don't really care what anybody else has to say. Your opinion is not needed here. So it was me, my sister, and my sister's friend Abby at this show. We got there. I don't drink alcohol, so I was like the DD. Everything was perfectly fine. The openers were fine. We did pretty shortly after being there noticed the couple because they were drunk. It was obvious that they were drunk, but they weren't bothering anybody, so it wasn't really a problem. When the band Wenya came out, the girls that were in the front, they left and they allowed us to move forward to where they were. My sister she really likes this band, so she wanted to be in the front. My sister was standing in the front. The girlfriend of this guy was standing next to her. He's standing behind her. I'm standing behind my sister, and so is our friend Abby. She's standing behind. So that's how it was set up. After a couple of songs, Abby went to the bathroom. All of a sudden, I feel a hand graze down my back, down to my butt, and is holding my butt. I immediately grab the hand, push it down. I notice it's the guy standing next to me, and I just assumed he was super drunk and maybe mistaken me for his girlfriend. I put his hand in, said, "Please don't touch me." Turned back to face the front. He continued to touch me and grope me. He touched my vagina, he touched my butt, just all over me, and would not stop. I continuously threw his arm down, told him to stop. And all this is happening, and I'm not telling my sister. My sister's watching this band. I just want my sister to have fun. We drove to Dallas for this. I tap his girlfriend on the shoulder, and I say, "Your boyfriend is groping me." She says, "You're okay," as if I apologized for something. I said, "No, he's touching me." And she told me, "It's okay, I got him. I got it, it's okay." And I just was like, whatever. I just took a sidestep. He leans over, and he's like touching me with his body and like leaning on me. All the while, he's holding on to his girlfriend. I had gum, I was chewing gum, and I don't even know why, but he's in my face, and he's saying, "Oh, pop that gum. Ew, pop that gum." And then he touches my back again, so then I push him out of the way. I kind of push him aside, and he shoves me. So I fall into the guy that's standing next to my sister. At this point, Abby comes back. The guy that I fell into switches spots with me. He's now standing next to the guy who's fine for a little bit. A lady who works at the event ended up in the front and was watching him. So I went up to her. I told her, "He's been groping me." She told me, "I'm watching him." I believe he kind of stumbled a little bit and almost fell. So she comes back to me. She says, "There's 3 things, and I have to see one of them before I'm able to kick somebody out. And I just observed that, so I'm going to get my other person to kick him out." Maybe a minute or so after this happened, my sister says,
he just stuck his hand in my pants. Immediately, it just changed the whole situation for me. I started yelling at him. I said, you sexually assaulted me and my sister. What the fuck is wrong with you? Fucking weirdo. Everybody's just watching this happen. I like truly witnessed the bystander effect in person. So I'm yelling at him. My sister's also like, what the fuck? Abby's also like, what the fuck? His girlfriend says to us, that's just him. That's just how he is. He's just like that. I turn and I see the security guard coming, so I tell Abby and Sydney move out of the way, and I move out of the way. Also see the lady security guard behind him, so I walk over to where she is. I'm telling her he just has now sexually assaulted 2 people. Before she could even talk to me, she had to like quickly walk away and go help. My back is facing all of them, so my back is turned away from them and I'm facing her, and then she walks around me, and as I turn around, the boyfriend and the girlfriend both fall and they fly into me, knocking me over and throw me into a metal barricade thing. I was on the floor. Not a single person helped me, by the way. My sister and Abby, they didn't see this happening, so they didn't even know what was going on. I picked myself up. I was really embarrassed and I didn't want to cry. He left. The security people took him. They left, and I got up and went back to where Sydney and Abby were and stood there for a few minutes. The security lady came back to me and said, are you okay? I said, I'm fine. And she just left. I stood there for a few more minutes. I was already in pain. I have lupus. I couldn't stand anymore. And I didn't want to cry in front of everybody. And so I told Sydney and Abby, I didn't want to ruin this experience for them. That was like my biggest thing. I didn't want to ruin this experience for anybody. And I felt like I was the problem. And so I just told them, I'm going to go sit in the car. And you guys stay here. And they're like, are you sure? Are you sure? I was like, I'm fine. So I left and I went and sat in the car. I didn't really even see any of the show. And I just wanted to share what happened because I have lupus, like I said, and this was my first time going out and doing anything fun in a very long time because I've been really sick, like bedridden, haven't been able to do anything, socialize. And I didn't even get to do that. I didn't get to have fun. It just sucks that it happened, and I just wanted to let everybody know. So if you ever see this man, you know he's a sexual assaulter and does it in public. And his girlfriend doesn't care either. I'm really angry about it all, thinking about it today. I'm angry at myself for not defending myself. Because like normally I do, and I didn't in that situation. I don't know why. And I'm angry that nobody helped us. Nobody like did anything. I'm angry at the venue for not doing anything more. I'm just angry. I don't understand why men think that they can do this, and obviously they can because he's getting away with it. What did he lose? He got kicked out for the night. So yeah, I just wanted to share what happened. So
my parents had a pretty ugly divorce when I was 6 years old, and the 2 houses that I grew up in were polar opposite. My earliest memory about it all was one day my mom got off work and she asked if I wanted to go to the lake or to see my cousins for the weekend, and I was a daddy's girl, so I said no, I want to wait for dad to get home from work. And she's like, no, we're going away for the weekend. So we did. And then we came home on Sunday and my dad was on the couch and he sat me down to talk to me, and I had never seen my dad cry before, and he told me that he was leaving. And I went and I found all the pictures that I have, and I put them in a box for him, and I like thought I was never gonna see my dad again because he was leaving. I didn't know that I was also leaving with him. I did not know why my parents got divorced until years later. I didn't understand. I was only 6, so I had no idea what an affair was. And it was not too long after that my dad and I moved in with that woman, and he married her. But I don't really want to get into because that's the mother of my little brother. But yeah, did not get along, and I like dreaded going there every week. So every Monday at 5 is when I switched houses, and my mom and I would sit on the front porch or in the front living room from 4:30 to 5 singing You're My Sunshine and watching the Ellen Show and just crying. because I didn't want to leave and she didn't want to leave me. By law, if your parents are divorced, the kid is supposed to be able to call the other parent like whenever. And I had an iPod and it would get taken away from me when I went to my dad's house so that I could not talk to my mom. So my mom bought me a prepaid phone that I kept secretly in my bag, and I always had to make sure that it was like silent and not buzzing and stuff because they didn't know that I had it, so that I could talk to my mom anytime I needed. And then like the older I got, like my mom's house was, my mom's my best friend and my mom, so that was a more relaxed house, and my dad's house was a little more stricter. Another thing that I think is pretty normal for like middle school, high school kids is you want to be with your friends like all the time and like sleepovers and all this. But something that I navigated was like when I sat down and thought about it, because I went to my mom's for a week, my dad's week, and my mom's week, I was like, I see my parents half the amount of time of what a normal kid sees their parents. So that was really hard for me. So I would turn down hanging out with friends a lot, which was kind of hard. I just felt left out, but also it like made me sick to think about the fact that like you only live with your parents for like 18 years and then you move out and then you'll never live with them again, kind of, even though I'm moving back home. And I only see my parents half the time of what normal kids see their parents. Like that made me so sad to think about. So I wanted to spend a lot of time with my parents, but it was also hard because I wasn't happy in my dad's house, even though I love my dad. I also vividly remember being at a friend's house one day, and it was me, her, and her parents were sitting out on their back patio, and she was like laying with her head on her mom's lap, and her dad was like rubbing her feet. And I got so sad because I was like, is this what it's like? Like, it's just so wild to me. Like, that's just a normal thing for them, but like, it was not normal for me. Also, as an athlete, there was always that awkward moment after games of like you see your mom's family and dad's family, and it's like, which one do I walk up to first? Because then the other one's just gonna be awkwardly waiting, and then you feel like you're rushed to go see the other family. So that was always like an awkward deciding factor. Don't even get me started on holidays. It's one thing just alternating, going back and forth between houses and mom's family stuff and then dad's family stuff and what times they all are. But then when your parents are married to other people, you have to navigate theirs. And I also have two half brothers, one on each side. So like, when is this brother going to be with my dad? I also need to be with my dad then. But then what if this brother is with my mom at that same time? Then I need to be with my mom, because then they also have to go to their other parents. There's just a lot of navigating. At my school, there was a thing that the guidance counselors put on for like middle school and elementary school, and if your parents were divorced, then it was like every other Friday you had to go have lunch with the guidance counselor and all the other divorced kids club, basically, and talk about having divorced parents and how to navigate like if the parents are fighting and just all of that. So every other Friday I would be missing out on lunch with my friends, and they'd ask where I was, and I didn't know what to tell them because I was at the divorced kids club, which isn't a cool club to be a part of. When my parents divorced, my mom found the tub of all their wedding stuff that was to be saved for me for my future wedding, and just like look back on about my parents' like love story, and she decided to keep it for me in the future, because obviously even though it didn't have meaning to her, it had meaning to me because that's my parents and that's where I came from. And somehow when my dad was moving out, certain people helped him move out, and these certain people found this bin and trashed it. So I have nothing left from my parents' love story, other than my mom got her wedding ring broke into a diamond necklace and earrings for me that I'm too scared to wear because I'm scared to lose it. I also used to want to get married on the same date that my parents got married, to reestablish that date as something good, but then I'm also scared that that date is bad luck and I should never get married on that day. So when my parents were in the thick of not getting along, I remember one day I was at my dad's and my mom was coming to pick me up. My mom didn't come to the door. My great aunt came to the door to get me, because obviously my parents didn't get along. And my dad basically said, no, you're not her mom, so she's not going with you. And my dad had one arm and my great aunt had the other, and they were literally fighting over me. I felt like a tug-of-war toy.
Okay, I shared like the tiniest little bit of my experience with my parents' divorce and how it wasn't the prettiest divorce. But I want to also share like where we are now, because we came out on the complete other side, and I think the reason that I posted it was because I know a lot of people can relate. Sadly, divorce is a pretty common thing, and a lot of kids go through it with their parents, and it's not an easy thing to navigate. So I know I'm not alone in that, and I just want to be relatable. So that was my reason of posting it. And some of the comments, which I can understand, have their own opinions based on things that I said. Just fathers in general, or people that have like affairs. And I just want to share like that wasn't my intention. I have a great relationship with my dad. We've come out on the complete other side, so I just want to share where we've came since then. So obviously the divorce happened when I was 6, so I'm 22 now, so we've had years to heal. And so the divorce happened, been through a lot with that. It was not fun, not easy to navigate. But now I'm 22, I can be places with my mom and my stepdad and my dad, like all just fine. I've had people comment on like how well my dad and my stepdad get along. My parents respect each other, they respect me, we have family group chats. I go on family vacations with like my mom, my brother's dad and his stepmom and all their kids. Like, it is a great blended family, and I think that they've been able to navigate it in the best way. Did it take a long time to get here? Yes. And my dad did divorce my stepmom, and since then, like, my dad and I have been able to heal a lot, and like, it's just great. It's crazy to see how the divorce hurt so bad. It hurt me, it hurt my mom, it hurt a lot of people, and how God was able to pull us through. And I genuinely don't think that we would be where we are if we didn't have a faith, because I think it would be easy to have a cold heart to people that hurt you, but I'm forgiven every day, so why would I not forgive people? So I forgive my dad, I forgive my stepmom, I forgive literally everybody involved, and I'm just very grateful to have such a great relationship with my parents. I also know what a blessing it is to even have your parents here, and I'm just grateful for that and how they've navigated it. And I hope that this encourages any parents going through divorce to do it in the most peaceful way for your kids. But also, if you have divorced parents and it's not pretty, just know that like it doesn't have to be like this forever. Yeah, I just want to make that conclusion. Like, I have a great relationship with both my parents. I love my mom, I love my dad, and I don't think I would change anything that happened to me or my family. Was it hard? Yeah. But did I learn a lot from it? Yeah. I value my time with my parents so much more because, like I said in the video, like, I saw them half the time of what normal kids see their parents growing up, and I just learned to appreciate family time. And now that I'm in a relationship, there's things that I learned from my parents' relationships that I don't want. There's also things that I learned that I do. So I'm grateful, and I hope that cleared some things up. I just don't want any hate on talking about anybody. I really just shared it to be relatable for people going through the same thing that I went through. Bye.
Have you ever heard the saying that sometimes a daughter's first bully is her mother? Yeah. I'm in the mood to trauma dump right now about how my mom has permanently altered my brain into hating myself. But really, I haven't talked to her in over a year. I have no plans to ever talk to her again. If it's going to be up to me, I will never talk to her again. Point blank period. She's not someone who I actually even think about as my mother. She's a person to me. I don't feel that feeling towards her. I don't have any regrets about this either. Truly, this woman has caused irreparable damage to me, my family, that I have chosen to not continue to forgive and to allow, because she still continues to do it. When you forgive her, she just goes right back into her same pattern and ruins everything again, and it's no longer healthy or good for me. Point blank. That's all I need to really say about that. What I wanted to do is just talk about one of the many things that my mom has done to me in my life, which make me not want to ever speak to her again. And truly, there is a lot of shit. A lot of it is very, very heavy. Some of the things that I've never told anyone publicly before, because I'm usually an open book, because drama, yay. But there are things that I haven't put online that are literally, that she's done, that are evil, that are sick and twisted. And truly, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to just blab about it all, because it's so cathartic and I just feel so much better talking about what I went through, because sometimes it explains a lot, you know? And also it's validating to see other people be like, oh my God, you know, holy shit. Sounds like it sucked. And then you see me and I'm always like, hey, you know, smiling. So one of the many things that this woman has done to me, to be my bully, my first ever bully, and my biggest op, is she has continuously fat shamed me my entire life, ever since I was a child. That goes for every time you open the fridge or the cabinet. What are you doing in there? What are you grabbing? Why are you grabbing a snack? You shouldn't be eating. You're so fat. You're so chubby. You're a piggy. All of those things. And if you think I'm over exaggerating, you don't know my mom, okay? You ask anyone who knows her and they'd be like, oh my God, yeah, that sounds like her. Have people seen it? Sometimes they're like, oh my God, I couldn't even imagine your mom saying that. She seems so fun and cool and whatever, because she is literally, the only way I can describe it is she's clinically insane, but whatever. Yeah, so started with the fat shaming ever since I was a little kid, and it continued literally until I last talked to her. It, you know, if she was talking to me today, it would still be happening today. Every time she sees me as an adult, she says things like, oh, your face looks a little puffy. Have you been on steroids? No, I'm not on fucking steroids. It's always, oh, your clothing is fitting a little different. It's always pointing out my body, what my body looks like, whatever. Let's address the elephant in the room, literally. I know I'm fat, okay? I've had periods in my life where I have been skinny, and I've had this period where I have been fat. I am overweight. I understand that. I have a lot of trauma surrounding food, surrounding my body image, surrounding my self-worth, okay? It's something that I'm working on. I've actually lost almost 50 pounds. So, yay me. Yeah, that's right. Celebrate me. I know I'm overweight, but like, don't comment on it. I'm the kind of person that's like, I'm going to bring it up before anyone else does because I don't want to suffer the embarrassment or the shame or whatever. So I'm just going to address it, say it out loud, make fun of myself so that nobody else can have that power over me. Yeah, thanks, Mom. Thanks. You taught me something. She, since I was a kid, have to sneak snacks because I was in fear. Number one, I was in fear of her because she was emotionally and physically abusive, but and verbally. Sorry, I forgot that one. But she would literally make me feel so much shame if I was eating a snack. Why are you eating that? Do you know how many calories is in that? It was always something like that. And I would be so embarrassed to eat, just eat, period, even at dinner. And that actually carried with me until adulthood. Even to this day, I don't usually eat at like family events. I'm like embarrassed, ashamed. I don't want the attention on me. Oh my God, she's eating. Look at her, she's eating. It's like, obviously I'm a human being. Obviously I'm going to eat, but I don't want the shame associated with eating because that's how I see it myself. I don't look at other people in that light, but that's how I see it with myself. Whatever. So she scarred me for life with that one. But a main thing I would do is I really liked just a little spoonful of peanut butter, which like people do all the time now. And back then, but I'm saying like, that's a thing. It's just a quick little, and I would have to sneak it. So I would take the jar of peanut butter, I would take it up to my room, like hide it under my shirt, take it up to my room, take a spoonful, and I'd be so scared to go back downstairs to put it down there because I'm hearing her in the kitchen stomping around because she's always fucking screaming and whatever. And that's a whole nother thing. So I would literally be like, oh, fuck, I'll do it later. And I would screw the lid back on and just put it under my bed. And what my mother did was do room checks for everyone all the time. All of the time. Go through our drawers, go through under our bed, go through everything. Not to clean. Maybe it was under the guise of cleaning, but it was always to just like invade our privacy. It was very like, it was always punitive because it was just like, what is this in your drawer? Why are these here? And it was never anything serious. Like none of us had like crazy problems or anything. So I don't know why. She was just insane. But she would find the jar of peanut butter under my bed and she would absolutely lay into me. Okay, piggy, you're going to keep food under your bed. You're a pig. You're disgusting. You're fat. And she didn't mean pig like, oh, you're sleeping in a pigsty. She would literally be like, you're a fat pig. Like, you're disgusting for eating in your room or for eating in general or getting a snack or whatever. So it was always that. It was always something about like nitpicking what I wore. You look heavy in this. You look heavy in that. This is way too tight for you. We need to get you a bigger girl clothing because you keep gaining weight. And it was always something like that. And I would start to develop, you know, some tatas. And I remember she would be on the phone with one of her friends and I would be in a tank top and she'd be like, oh, and here comes my fucking daughter down the stairs. You know, she's got her boobs hanging out. And then she's like, put those fatty things away. And I'm like, bitch, are you jealous? It sounds like jealousy. And one thing she would say to me is, you know, I used to beat girls up like you in high school. Bible, she said that to me. So yeah, pure bully, okay? As you can imagine, I developed a crazy eating disorder. I would literally not eat obviously. This was my sophomore year of high school. It was like freshman year summer going into sophomore year. I would not eat. I weighed like 104 pounds or something like that. I was taking homecoming pictures with my boyfriend and all his, you know, friends and family or whatever. My mom was there taking photos, and in the middle of everyone just goes, "Oh my gosh, Carly, you know, change your position. You look so top heavy. You look so top heavy." And I weighed like literally 104 fucking pounds. And I remember being like, oh my God, I can't believe I look so fat when I keep trying to starve myself. How do I keep looking so fucking fat? Mind you, I've been told by doctors, literally, they're like, you just have broad shoulders and a broad rib cage. That's just how you're built. That's your bone structure. Even though I weighed so little, I had broad shoulders. So my mom just had to point out the biggest part of my body. It didn't matter how skinny everything else was. It was, oh my God, you look top heavy. And, you know, of course, humiliated me in front of everyone, but, you know, that's besides the point. So she never knew I had an eating disorder. She didn't care. It didn't matter. She'd make fun of me at the dinner table. My older brother affectionately called me Shamu for a little bit there. My mom thought it was so funny. She would laugh and she would make it into a song and say, Shamu, Shamu. When I would like walk into a room or at dinner or whatever, she would do that. I literally used to make concoctions where it was like, I Googled it when I was a kid and it was, well, teenager. And it was just like a bottle of water and like a shit ton of salt and like cayenne pepper. I don't know. It's some like flush. It's disgusting. But it was like, it'll make you lose 10 pounds in 2 days, you know? And I would drink those all the time because I was like, I have to be thinner. And it's not like I wanted to please my mother, but I just felt so awful about myself that I'm like, clearly this woman hates me. This woman literally hates me. What can I do to maybe make myself less hateable or maybe just love myself? But yeah, that's one of the many, 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 many things that she has done to me. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. I'm telling you, it gets much, much, much worse. But that's just something that, yeah, it's something that has stuck with me to this day. Why I still have problems with food, why I still have problems with my weight, with my self-esteem, with my image. But yeah, I felt it was time to kind of put my shit out there and tell people why I don't talk to my mother. And just to be abundantly clear, it's not even the largest reason why I don't talk to her anymore. There's a plethora, so if you want to hear my drama, I'm here.
Okay, y'all, story time about how the neighbor who tortured us our whole time of living in our apartments, we just found out he was on the run for 12 years and wanted for 12 years. So y'all, it's 5 people in this story. The upstairs neighbor, the side neighbor, me, my girlfriend, and her sister. So we moved to these apartments. I can say the name now because we don't live there anymore, so it's not a risk. We moved to these apartments in St. Pete called The Meadows. So when we moved there, we moved in May. So the first time we ever had company was really like the 4th of July. The 4th of July came, y'all, we wasn't alone. They specifically said no fireworks, but it's the 4th of July. Who cares? Who's listening to that? So keep in mind, we did do fireworks, but it was 2 of us because my girlfriend, cousin, also lived in the apartment. So it was like, we all just came together, had like a big, well, we didn't come together to have a big party. We threw the party, but they came because they live in apartments too, and they family, so it's like, why not? So as we're out there doing fireworks, me and my girlfriend, we're in the house cleaning up the house because it's getting towards the end of the party. The upstairs neighbor comes down and basically approaches like the party and like say something. My job, the upstairs neighbor is a Karen, y'all. She's literally a Karen. So she came down there and said something. But y'all, yes, so she's a Karen and she takes it upon herself to come down and say something to the party to where our guest basically argues with her. She brings up the fact that she's more of like a minority than us, y'all. Mind y'all, this lady is pure breed white, like. So we already like shaky with her because of that situation. So we just decided like to keep our distance from that neighbor. We didn't meet the side neighbor until later on in the apartments. My girlfriend's car ended up getting broken into. So when her car get broken into. We out there, and he basically approaches us. He comes over, and he's like, yeah, I seen two, he said two little boys, right?
And he said he seen one.
Oh, he said he seen one little boy walking around, like, basically pulling on car doors. So he shows us a picture. We call the police, and we sort that out. Y'all, while we're, keep in mind, we talking to the police, he's right there talking to the police with us. The police asking us, like, questions and stuff, and he's right there answering the questions, which I don't know why they didn't notice this, because y'all, anybody who question, like, with cases like that, they should automatically take your name down and, like, put you as, like, witness, right? Like,
I don't think they do nothing with it though.
Well, maybe they don't, but like that just, now that I'm thinking about it, they should already like kind of notice that. So he, like, time just keeps going on. Basically, y'all, the whole time we there, the upstairs neighbor and him, they was making reports on us. Like, the police officer was telling us, like, they've been reporting us for noise, and it's just been like a whole bunch of little stuff. Y'all, every time we come outside to get in the car, he's right there waiting to talk to us about something. He's basically like the gossip of the fucking neighborhood. Ooh, I cannot cuss. He's like the gossip of the neighborhood. But y'all, we the gossip too, because like they talk about us too, like, which we never understood why. It's like he basically knew everybody's business. Anything goes on, he know, and the upstairs neighbor know. So a situation happened to where I found out, like, they basically had a group chat to where they all in there. We thinking, okay, Mark, that's what we think his name is, because he's talking to us every day. He's introduced himself as Mark. It comes time, y'all, we find another house. We move, and so my girlfriend's sister, she run in, y'all, and basically show us this video, and I'm gonna insert the video so y'all can see as well, because y'all, it's so crazy. Like, what's going on?
So I nannied for a family, and the mom was cheating on the husband, and I've been wanting to tell this story, but I was scared, because you know how stuff get around TikTok, like it get around the block, okay? But let's just pray she don't see it. But anyway, I found this family on Sitter City. It was just a regular family. They was paying me like $25 an hour, like a very normal family. But the dad was like super sweet, right? He would like get her roses all the time. But one thing I thought was so special, that he traveled a lot for work. I don't remember what he did for work, but he traveled like every week for work. And every time he came back, she liked toads, like the frog toads. He would get her a toad souvenir from everywhere he go. He was like, I don't care if I have to be up like super late after work, or if after a conference or a training, I'm going to go get her that, because she loves it, and I love that she loved that. What? But she was sweet to him. He loved coffee, and so she would be like on the hunt all the time to like find him the best coffee like in the world, like all over the world. So to me, going in, I'm like, wow, this is a beautiful couple, and they had a little daughter, and I love that even more, because for the dad to be treating the mom so good, it's like, wow, you're gonna see a man treat your mom good, so you're gonna know how a man should be treating you, right? Right. So like I said, the dad traveled a lot, and so anytime the dad would travel, he would travel 3 to 7 days every week. And so his longer trips, like 5 to 7 days, the mom will also leave, and I would spend the night with the baby for like a night or two. And I'm thinking that she's going to meet the husband to have like a rendezvous or something. Like, I'm like, that's even sweeter, right? I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just doing my job, going there, watching the baby overnight. And then she come home, and I'm like, and then nothing, like no talk of it. He didn't come home and say nothing about the trip. She didn't come home and say nothing about the trip. Nothing. And sorry, I'm sitting in my car as a man out there. But anyway. So one evening she said, Michelle, I'm planning a trip to Santa Barbara because one of my friends want to meet my daughter. And I said, okay. She was like, and you're coming. Like, I need you to come with me. Because this was the time her husband was traveling for 7 days. So we was going to go to Santa Barbara for 3 days. 4 days, 3 nights. that was the time. So he was going to be gone for 7 days. We was going to be gone for total 4 days. And so I'm like, hell yeah, I love Santa Barbara. It's one of the most beautiful cities, I think, in LA. I mean, in California, period. And so we drive down. She was super cool, super easygoing. Like, she had a good style, taste in music. So the road trip was easy. We get there. I went to Aspen with them before on a family trip. And we stayed in a conjoined room, which made sense because, what is that noise? Sorry. It made sense because when they needed me, they can knock on the door and I can open the door and say, hey, what's up? If I need something from them, I can knock on the door. You know, that just makes sense, conjoined room. So I'm thinking that when we travel, this is just how it would be, because that makes the most sense. So we get to this little hotel in Santa Barbara, like super cute, like boutique hotel. And they tell me like, your room is upstairs and her room was downstairs. And I'm just like, I look up at the mom, like, and so the front desk person, she's like, is everything okay? Like, are you like the nanny? Do you prefer a room that's like connected? Because we have one handicap room that we could give y'all that's like, and the mom's like, no, it's fine, it's fine. And I was like, shit, it's fine. So as she said, she needed me for the evening. So all day she had the little girl and I was just free to roam. And then during the evening, I'll get the little girl. And at some point throughout the night, she will come and get the little girl and take her back to her room. Well, her daughter, and take her back to her room. And so the last night, though, we were there, she was just kind of rushing me. Like, I'm getting her stuff, and I'm like, she's like, she's probably going to stay the night with you tonight. So, like, I'll just see you guys in the morning. And I was like, okay, so what if I don't, like, what if I forget something? Or, like, what if I need something? Like, should I text you? Or, like, could I get a key to, like, if I need something? And she was like, oh no, like, just text me, but try your best not to forget nothing. Like, try to get everything you need, because I'm gonna be out, is what she kept saying. I'm gonna be out. That's why I asked for a key. And I was like, okay. So as I'm getting the stuff together, right, to take the little girl up to my room, she get a phone call on the hotel phone, and it's the damn people downstairs. Like, it's a visitor here requesting to come up. Is it okay if we let them up? She look at me. I'm acting like, I'm getting baby stuff. I'm just, and she's like, yes, they could come up. And so I'm not thinking it's gonna be a man. I'm thinking it's gonna be a girl, because I'm not thinking you will introduce a man, whatever. So I don't know if this man teleported from the front desk to her room. But when I say, I feel like the moment they hung that phone up, he was knocking on the door. He was really wanted to see her, okay? So he knocking on the door, and she just keeps looking at me, and I'm just got the baby, doing my thing. He walks in, and she's like, oh, hey, just trying to play casual. You can tell she's playing casual. He grabs her by the waist and like pull her in. And I'm just like, again, let me mind my business, because I learned that in Nannying. You go in that house and you mind your business. So grab her, pull her in, and I'm just like, steady, messing with the baby, not even trying to look. And she's like, this is my friend. This is my friend. That's what she kept saying. This is my friend. This is my friend. And I'm just like, hello, nice to meet you. And I'm like, okay, we're going to go now. She's like, yeah, so just text me, or, if you need anything, whatever. And I'm just like, oh, okay, I won't need nothing. So the night go past, the little girl, everything went good. We driving home, right? That guilt is eating her alive, okay? Eating her to pieces. I'm in the passenger seat, right? And I'm just enjoying the ride like this. She's steady looking over. It's me. What? Why you keep looking at me? Did you enjoy Santa Barbara? I'm like, yeah, it was a lot of fun. He was really just my friend. That's me. Okay. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. No, like, seriously. Okay. Like, okay. And she's like, we don't have to talk about this, like, when we get home. Like, we don't have to talk about this. This me. Okay. Like, okay. And just the whole car ride home, she just like, that guilt, she's like, damn. I think that she was so out of her mind that it didn't dawn on her, like, what she was doing, bringing me into it, that she really fucked up, right? But so we get home or whatever, and she's so silly dilly in the brain that she didn't take the hotel key out of her purse. The husband comes home or whatever, the hotel key's in her purse. He's looking in her purse for something. he's like, we haven't been to this hotel in a minute. Like, this is our favorite hotel. And she just like, and then she looks over at me like, you bitch, you better not say nothing, right? And I'm just, again, minding my business, just minding my business. And he's like, yeah, like, we should definitely go here soon. Like, she was like, yeah, like, for sure, we should definitely go. He was like, yeah, I mean, like, why is this in your purse? Like, we haven't been there in a while, though. And he's like, you know what? Maybe it, like, fell to the bottom at some point. Like, you really don't be cleaning your purse out. And maybe the baby stuff got, you know. And, I mean, he's coming up with all these reasons why she could have this hotel key. Not even thinking, right? But I worked for them for, like, a year and a half. And I never said nothing. But I did stop working overnights. I did tell her, like, yeah, I can't work overnight. And she already knew. She already knew why I couldn't work no more. Baby, I'm not about to be a part of you. You ain't gonna send me to hell because you want to go to hell. No! But, yeah, that was... And let's pray to God she don't find this video. But, yeah, that was that.
I served one of the most coddled and sheltered kids I have ever met in my entire life. And if you're raising your kids like this, you are setting them up for disaster. I promise. So I work as a server, right? And the hostess comes up to me and tells me that I'm going to be serving a 4-top, but their parents are at the table behind them, but they're going to be served by a different server. So I'm only serving the kids, right? So I'm thinking that they must be young, right? So I go up to the table. It's 2 sisters with their boyfriends, and they looked about teenagers, 17 to 18, with about a year or 2 in between them. They don't look that old or young. So I asked them for their drink order, and one of them turned around and asked their mom for a Diet Coke. And now that's not too unusual. You know, some parents limited their kids to 1 or 2 sodas a day, but she's an older teenager, so I thought that was a little strange. But again, you know, whatever. Some parents limited their kids, whatever. So I come back. I asked them for their food order, and they were ordering all willy-nilly. They're ordering, like, almost everything on the menu. I work at a restaurant that serves 4 courses, and it's already pretty expensive for the set 4-course menu. It's a minimum $100 for 2 people. And the extra things that you can add into the 4 courses is, of course, more. And they're adding all these extra things, and I could tell that they were paying for themselves, and they were probably not taking notes of how much things are. So at the end of everything, I showed them the tab, and you could see their face that they could not pay for that. And I was like, it's okay. You know, we haven't set anything in. Y'all haven't ate anything. We could take some things off. Their tab went from like $270 for 2 people down to $40. Which is totally fine if you can't pay for things, but one of the girls, she was like, I'm so sorry that we made so many mistakes. You see, that's my mommy over there, and she helps us with ordering. I've never been to a restaurant without her, and I've never ordered without her. This is my first time ordering for me. Like, I'm actually kind of proud of myself. This is my first time. So as she's talking to me, the mom comes over and she's like, is it okay if I see my daughter's tabs, please? I'm like, okay. So I give her the handheld device, and she's like, yeah, so I monitor their accounts and I manage their money entirely. Do not allow them to order anything else. No matter how much they beg, how much they plead, do not let them order unless I tell you and I give you the okay, the permission for them to have something, okay? And so now I'm thinking that they have to be younger. They have to be maybe 14, 13. You know, kids these days look older with all the makeup and stuff. But the thing is, they're not wearing any makeup. They're not dressed older or anything. They just look older. So I'm confused, okay? I'm confused. Whatever, I have a job to do. So I go in the kitchen, get their first course started, bring it out. They don't know how to use fondue forks. It's okay. I just show them, stab, dip. They're not quite getting it, so the mom has to come and show them completely. First course is done. Now for the second course, which is salads while they wait for the broth to heat up, you know, so they can cook their food. So I bring the broth out because they're eating their salads, and they don't know what broth is. Oh, what's in this pot? What is this? Oh, it's your broth to cook your food in. Broth? What is that? Broth, like, have you ever had soup? Oh, this is soup? No, like, have you ever had soup? You know, the runny part of the soup? Yeah, so soup? No, soupy. The runny part of soup, like chicken noodle soup, that's called the broth. No, that's soup. The mom had to come and explain that soup is the name of the dish, and soup has ingredients in it that makes it soup, like broth. So I bring out the food, and all 4 of them collectively did not know that you could not touch raw food with your hands if you're going to be touching things around the table, you know? And the 2 sisters did not know that you cannot eat raw chicken like it's salmon, like it's sushi grated salmon. Last but not least, when I took the boiling pot off of the burner and turned off the burner, one of the girls didn't think, you know, maybe it needs to cool down a little bit before fucking touching it. And if anyone's wondering, I don't think they have anything, like, mentally wrong with them, because the mom had apologized for them being ditzy and silly and stupid. Do you want to guess how old they were? The daughter, who has never ordered by herself and burnt her hand on the burner, is turning 21 in a couple months. The other daughter is 23. The boyfriends are 19 turning 20 and 24. In case you're wondering, no, I didn't get a tip for them, but it's okay. I didn't expect them to be taught that. And I had a table that was right behind them that coincidentally was teaching their 13-year-old daughter how to order for herself and how to pay and calculate tip. And they left me a really nice one.
Story time on how I was pregnant, federally indicted, my 5-year-old son got shot, and I ended up in prison all in 1 year. Now, I know I was supposed to drop this story time yesterday, but life get to life, and sometimes when I get overwhelmed and I gotta reset. So, yesterday I had to reset. So, in order for y'all to really understand why everything played out the way it did, I'm gonna have to give y'all a little backstory, right? So, it all started when I was about 23 years old, right? I was the mother to just 2 of my kids at the time, my boys. And my oldest son's dad was in prison, and my youngest son's dad was in prison, right? So it was just me and my 2 kids, and my mother was my only support system, but my mother battled addiction, so it was only so much support she could give me, right? So when times got harder, wasn't nothing I wouldn't do to make sure that my kids had what they needed. So if I had to go in stores and steal what they needed, that's what I did. I went in stores and I would steal what they needed. Obviously, I wasn't too good at it because I ended up with a theft charge and I had to go to court, and I ended up pleading out to it, and now it's on my record. So now I have 2 kids and a theft charge on my record, and I'm applying for jobs, and I'm trying to get my life together, right? And I can't tell y'all how many job interviews I went to, how many orientations I went to. They would hire me, and then they would fire me as soon as my background check came back. And I am an only child, y'all, and I have that only child syndrome people talk about, where you feel like everything's supposed to go your way, right? So as I'm going to these jobs interviews and I'm getting denied and I'm getting fired, it start messing with me mentally. So, y'all, while I'm already battling, trying to figure out my financial situation for me and my children, I get a call that my baby daddy is in prison. He is swollen up with fluids. His heart is failing. So, y'all, when I get that call, I'm just like, God, what are you trying to do to me? Like, it's only so much I can take, right? So a couple weeks passed, maybe 2 weeks after I got that call, and then I got another call. And that next call was my son's family letting me know that my baby daddy was found deceased in his cell. He swelled up with fluids, and he choked on his own fluid pretty much. Y'all, that sent me, because I'm just like, not only am I struggling, I got 2 kids, but now one of my possible support system that could come home and do right is gone. It's gone. So now I'm really a single mother for real. When I say I went through such a dark moment, like I got so depressed, y'all, I can't even lie to y'all. I didn't want to be here anymore. And I remember like yesterday, I was sitting in my car like I am now, and I was just staring off into space, and I told myself, I cannot create a solid foundation for my kids. I cannot even raise them. I can't make them happy because I'm not happy. I just feel like I'm better off if I'm not here. So I drove down to the store. bought me some ibuprofen PMs or Tylenol PMs, whatever they call, and I took the whole bottle. And all I remember is waking up to the fire department breaking my door down and taking me to the hospital. That's all I remember is waking up and the fire department is breaking my door down. They put me in a mental institute for 72 hours, y'all. And in those 72 hours, I told myself, I don't care what I have to do when I get out of here. I got to get some money for my kids. So I had this homeboy, y'all. He was an old head. He was from up north, and I knew he was getting money because whenever I needed anything, if I needed a ride, if I needed anything that he could help me with, he would help me. And it was this one time we was sitting on my porch after I got out the hospital, and we was just talking, and I was venting, and I told him, I got to get me some money. So my homeboy told me, come up with $150 and call me. I'm going to show you something. And y'all, that was like music to my ears. Do you hear me? I'm like, I know this nigga getting money. He about to show me. You hear me? So y'all, long story short, I got the 150. I caught my homeboy and he pulled up on me with that thing. And I'm gonna say that thing because I don't want TikTok banning me. And I don't want the people on here doing the most. But anyways, y'all, he pulled up on me with that thing. He backed it up for me. He told me what to do, how to do, and when to do it. You hear me? And baby, it was on like Donkey Kong from there. I'm talking about, I sat on my porch. Because at this time, I'm living in a project. So I sat on my porch, passed out some samples, and my shit got the rocking. Y'all, so at this point, everything. The money going, pockets fat, kids great, got a car, we living good, everything. But I'm still in the projects, right? So y'all, when I say my shit was rocking, I mean my shit was rocking. Like my door was like, the bando was like this all day long, all night long. It got to the point where I had to beg the Jays to just chill. Let me get 30 minutes of sleep and we good, right? So just imagine one apartment out of 100 and there's so much traffic going to that motherfucker. It gets the attention of the authorities in the office, right? So I get woke up to bangs on my door one morning. And y'all, I'm thinking it's the peoples. They want their little fix, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go to the door and it's the police and it's the office and they are handing me a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, they're telling me that I'm being evicted due to too much traffic. So now I'm just like, golly, like if it ain't one thing, it's another. But in my mind, I'm like, that was your goal, to get you some money to give you and your kids a better living. So you got the money, go get you a house. And that is when I got my first house. So now I got the house, I got the cars, I got the money, I got an extra room. So I moved my mama in. I call my mama and I tell my mama, I got us a house, come on home. And she come on home. So now I'm feeling like that bitch. Do you hear me? I got the nice big house, my first house. I got the nice car. I done brought my mama to the crib. She good. She don't got to worry about nothing. The kids good. I bought my mama a car. Like I'm feeling like I'm doing my big one. You hear me? And everything was great until one day I'm at the mall. Me and my homegirl, it's Halloween at this time. We getting ready for a Halloween party, right? So after I leave the mall, I go home so I can shower and get dressed and get ready for this party, right? And as I'm pulling up at home, I realize that my door is wide open. And when I walk in, my house is very disoriented. Like, it's a mess, as if kids have been running around here unsupervised, right? So at the time, my youngest son, he was about 2 or 3. And I asked them where their nana is. Where is your nana? Because she's supposed to be watching y'all. And y'all, I was not prepared for what I was about to see. But as I walk further into my house, I see my mom's feet hanging from under my kitchen table. And she's laying under my kitchen table and she is unresponsive. And y'all just gonna have to come back for part 2 if y'all want the rest of the story, because I need a reset. But if I was y'all, I would come back, because this shit gets crazy.
Hi everyone, my name is Jay. Come get ready with me while I tell you the story time of how I found out that I was a 3-day bet to fuck. This story time is so funny to me, but looking back, your girl was she was not having it. Okay, let's start off with the basics. So my freshman year, I had this gym class, which was team sports, with a couple of kids. We'll call the first one Marco, the second one Tyler, and the third one Jackson. So I had my you know, team sports class with them. So I met them like a little later on in this class, and then we started hanging out together in the class. Whatever. The only kid that like I kind of talked to after that class was really Marco and occasionally Tyler, because him and Marco were best friends. So, you know, whatever. Fast forward into sophomore year rolls around, and I'm still in touch with Marcos, but a lot of these kids have added me on Snap, and Jackson was one of them. And I was like, what the heck, and whatever. And at this point in time, like, my quick add was low-key, or like my like added me friends was blowing up, and all of them had mutual friends, so I just added them back. Whatever. So, you know, one of them happens to be one of Jackson and Marcos's friend, and Tyler, and it happens to be one of their friends, and I'm like, oh wait, this friend just happens to be a very, very attractive man who I have thought is attractive for a really long time. Whatever. Because I set my homeboy up with my homegirl, worst idea I've ever done, that's a separate story time. If y'all want a different story time on that tragedy, let me know. But anyways, so, you know, whatever. I'm like, okay. And I was trying to get like my repay back, and instead of him setting me up with someone, I was trying to get him to buy me a vape. But he wouldn't. So I was like, okay, fine, set me up with this dude. This is the guy that added me that was the friend. And we'll call him Nathan. So whatever, me and Nathan, we start snapping back and forth and whatever, and so Marcos finally decides, fine, I'll set you guys up. He hated this idea though, because I was a sophomore and he was a junior, but he was a really old junior, like he should have been a senior type junior. So, but it like, I was 16 at the time, so like it was fine, and he was 17. It's aged really weird, guys, I promise, that's all that it is. Anyways, so, you know, he sets us up, and this is like right around the time of New Year's. Like, we were kind of like talking, not like just like we were like talking to get to know each other, like through Christmas and stuff, but like the time of us like actually getting closer and stuff and like getting to know each other pretty well was around New Year's. Okay, so, you know, there's that. Fast forward, you know, New Year's Eve rolls around, and so I hit up one of my homegirls, and I'm like, hey, like, what are you doing tonight? Like, want to come over and chill? Like, I don't have anything to do, and I don't have any friends to hang out with. She was like, bet, I was looking for someone to hang out tonight. And I was like, okay, perfect, come over. Whatever, my homegirl comes over, and we start trying to figure out something to do, because there wasn't any functions that hadn't already been shut down, because it was like 10 or 11 o'clock. And so there wasn't like very many functions of either people that we didn't like or the people didn't like us. And guys, I know the shade match is so bad right now, I promise it gets better. That was embarrassing, oh my goodness. Anyways, and so I'm just kind of like, alright, well then, like, I don't really know what to do in our case. And she brings up the guy I've been fucking with. She's like, what is he doing tonight? And I was like, wait, that's a good question, I have no idea, let me text him. So I text him, and I'm like, yo, what are you doing tonight? And he was like, oh, I'm hanging out at Jackson's house with Tyler, Marcos, Jackson, and then a couple of other kids that are irrelevant in this story, like completely. And I was like, oh, okay. And I like told my homegirl that, whatever, and I was like, yeah, no, like he said this, and she was like, tell him to bring one of his friends just so that like I'm not lonely, because she had a boyfriend and whatever, and she was like, but I don't want him to be uncomfortable, you know. So she was like, tell him to bring a friend, and I'll like, we'll chill in like a group setting ish, whatever, and y'all can hang out. And I was like, wait, yeah, oh my goodness. So whatever, I texted him, I'm like, yeah, like after you hang out at Jackson's house for a bit, do you want to pull up with one of your friends and like come chill at my house and like do something? And he was like, yeah, for sure, let me bring Marcos. And I was like, okay, bet, perfect. Like hopefully he wouldn't be attracted to my friend. It turns out that he was, but that's not the point here. Whatever, they get to my house and my dad offers to take us bowling and pay for it. So we're like, yeah, sure, whatever, we'll go. It gives us something to do for the night. At this point, it's like 11:30, so it's almost midnight, and we're all just kind of chilling, talking. Like, it is a little awkward between me and, I forgot his name. Did I say Nathaniel? I think that's what I said. If I didn't, I'm sorry, that's his new name. Anyways, so whatever, me and Nathaniel, it's a little awkward between us because this is like our first time hanging out, but you know, whatever. And so we just kind of like are all chilling, whatever. We go home after the night's over, blah blah blah. I text him, tell him I had a good time tonight. He texted me, told me he had a good time tonight. I was like, great, we both had a good time, this is gonna work out in my favor, you know, whatever. And he's like, we should hang again, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, tomorrow I think I'm busy during the day, but after like 6 I'm free. And he was like, okay, we want to hang out. And I was like, yeah, for sure, what do you want to do? And he was like, oh, well, like, do you want to go see a movie? And I was like, oh, for sure, like, why not? And he was like, all right, let's go look at the movies. And I was like, okay. He told me like 3 options. I ended up picking, I don't even remember what movie I ended up picking. Whatever, so we end up going on this little like movie date thing, I guess, the next day. Whatever, we meet each other there. My dad dropped me off. That was low-key kind of embarrassing, but whatever. We end up meeting each other there. We go in, he takes me home, and my dad had texted me and offered to buy us ice cream. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. And then he asked me if I want to go to this place called Drift Mountain, and I was like, no. Drift Mountain is terrifying. No. I was like, no, I think I'm okay, and whatever. And thank God my dad calls, because my dad's like, hey, does Nathaniel like want to come over to the house and chill for a bit before he has to go home, like depending on what time he has to be home? And I was like, oh, let me ask him. Whatever. I look over and I'm like, hey, you want to go chill back in my place? And he was like, yeah, sure, why not, whatever. So he comes back to my house, nothing happens, and then this is where it gets insane. So the following weekend, my best friend came out here for a volleyball tournament, and that's who I had set Marcos up with. And so my best friend, she was out here for a volleyball tournament, and because my best friend, she lives in Wyoming, I live in Colorado. I'm so sorry to do this to you guys, but I yap too much, and my editing like platform's down right now, so I can't edit my clips to make them shorter. Otherwise I would not be making part 2s, but go to part 2 if you want to hear the rest.
What's up, you hoes? I am not gonna lie, I am having a bit of a rough morning, so I have the perfect solution. I am no longer having a bad morning.
Alright, we're gonna do story time on how I got caught kissing by my Muslim parents, and they were recording. Alright, so it was Valentine's Day, and we all had baskets for each other, right? But we went on a 2-man. So basically, my best friend's boyfriend's dad, like, he had this truck. So we all just placed our stuff in there, and then we headed to the movies. We were watching the GOAT movie, by the way, that came out. And everything was good, but then, like, he was, like, upside down, right? And, like, it wasn't awkward or anything. And he had, like, his head, like, on the, like, headrest in the middle of us, right? And I was looking down at bro, because, like, he was looking at me like he wanted something, right? And so I asked him, like, what do you want? And he was like, cringe, y'all, but like I was into it. And so he said, like,
you know what I want. Like, yeah, I know what I want. Like, yeah, I know what I want. Like, okay. And so that was my first ever kiss, and I leaned in, like, I held his chin up, and we kissed, okay? And then, like, I don't know, like, we weren't watching the movie, if you know what I mean. But, like, and then we go to the arcade after that, and my friends were, like, saying, like, you guys should take photos at the photo booth. So I tell them, like, oh, let's go take photos at the photo booth. And, like, it's just us again. And I look at the photo booth, and, like, it's unavailable, like, it's out of order. And I'm like, oh, damn. So I leave, right? And I'm like, oh, we should do that right next. But there was a girl on it, right? So he, like, sat down, like, in front of, like, the curtains of the photo booth, right? And he was like, do you want to sit down? I was like, sit down where? Because, like, he was, like, on the edge, like, where am I supposed to sit? And he passed, like, inside of the photo booth. So, like, I slip inside of the photo booth, right? And we just, we just, you know. And then, like, I look at the photo booth, I was like, damn, I wish this was, like, working. I don't know what was going through his mind, but he thought I meant, like, straddling him. Like, no. Like, and so he's like, oh, this way? I'm like, no. I was talking about, like, the photo booth. And so we just start, like, giving each other pecks, right? And he pulls back, and he's like, do you know how to French kiss? Mind you, you're my first ever kiss. Of course I don't know how to French kiss, but I'm intrigued. Like, okay. So I say, teach me. And, you know, but then, like, he teaches me, terrible teacher, like, mind you, like, instructions out the door, like, terrible all the way over there. And he tells me pick top or bottom and hug it. What do you mean hug it? That was only instructions he gave, by the way. And so I was like, no. And he's like, you don't want to be here, do you? Like, I said no. And I left. And it was kind of hard to bring the conversation up after that. So I was like, but we still had fun after that. Like, everything was still okay. Now, okay, so you know how we left all our baskets in the truck? So we go to the parking lot, and he's giving me, like, a piggyback ride. Like, we go to the parking lot, like, we're having fun and stuff. And he gives me, like, this big old teddy bear, right? Because we're all exchanging gifts. And I'm reading the letter. I have, like, my friends are recording. I have this all on video, and it says, read the top of the box last. I flip it over. I thought it was gonna say, will you be my Valentine? It said, will you be my girlfriend? I didn't want to embarrass him, but also, like, I kind of wanted to. So I was like, yes. And then my friend's boyfriend yells kiss, and so I just give him one peck, right? And they start, like, squealing, and then they go, like, hey. And after that, like, we're just, like, messing around, right? I go back, I check my phone, it says missed call from my dad. Mind you, like, because my friend was gonna get picked up early, right? And I was just gonna be left alone. And, like, her boyfriend was gonna stay with me, but I was like, nah, that's low-key weird. Like, I'm not doing that. And so I asked my parents to pick me up. I didn't think they would actually come, and so early. And, like, my friend had finally, like, convinced her mom to let me stay longer. So I was confused. I was like, why is he calling me? I call him again. I'm like, hey, Dad. And he's like, I'm here. Come to the farmer's market, and I'm gonna have a talk with you. I was frightened, like, shivering in my boots type of frightened. And I look up, I tell them, like, oh, I'm screwed. Like, he saw somehow. And in the video that my friends took, you can see my dad's car in the background. I'm like, whoa. And so I go over there, right? Mind you, I'm holding, like, a huge stuffed animal. Like, I tell them, like, take my stuff. I'm gonna take the dog with me. Just take everything, because I know I'm gonna get it taken. I go up to my dad. My dad looks straight at me, and he's like, who's that boy? Who is that guy? And he's like, whose truck is that? Whose truck is that? And I don't say anything. I'm ashamed. And, like, I'm like, I'm speechless. We go to the car, and I'm not that, like, guilty, to be honest. I'm like, I was reminiscing everything in the car, but I was like, damn. And no words were shared. So he drops me off home. He doesn't get out of the car, and he, like, speed drives back to wherever he's going. I take my ass upstairs. I take every single electronic I have. I just take everything that I know my mom's gonna ask for, and I put it in her room, right? I take money, like, that I owe her. I just put it in her room, and my dumb ass goes to sleep. Did you think you were gonna sleep through this? My mom turns on the lights, starts screaming at me, pushing me around the room. You're disgusting. You were so aggressive. Like, basically in the video, it looked like we were making out, and it looked like. And she was like, oh, they were screaming because how aggressive it was. It was really just one peck. But I do feel guilty that my parents had to see that.
I felt bad for me though, and everything was taken from me. And like, okay, so basically after that, like, oh my gosh. Okay, so my mom started going through my phone, right? And holy shit, she found out that I lied about the Galentine. She found out that every single thing I ever bought him, like that I said that was for a friend, was for him. She found out that when my friend had slept over, we actually went on a 2-man to Whispering Pines, which is like a park that's close to my house, instead of like just us. It was a 2-man, and she saw like a photo that like his hand was like on my chest, but like it wasn't like anywhere like there. It was just on my chest, right? Because he was like, his hands were around my neck, and she was like, oh, he's touching your, like, oh, like, how can you ever let a guy touch you like that, blah 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 blah. She scrolls down. By the way, this guy like you know, and all of that, like, he does those things, but like he doesn't do it around me, which I'm grateful for. And so she finds a text message of me saying that like he's high in the sky, right? And she's like, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? She goes downstairs. She starts asking my dad, like, what is this? And my dad is like, oh, like, so he's a drug dealer. I've never seen my dad ever look at me like that. My dad was like, so basically they started thinking like, oh, I'm dating a drug dealer, and all of this nonsense. And I'm just, I was so guilty. I was so guilty. I was so speechless. And then my dad left for LA the next day. So that was like the last time I saw him, right? My dad didn't speak to me for 3 weeks. The entire time he was in LA, he didn't speak to me. And my mom, so basically I didn't eat that day, and I didn't eat the next day until 6 p.m. And my siblings were bringing me up food and I could literally just hear them shit talking me downstairs the entire day.
Y'all ever notice how it's always the rich people that say shit like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness? Then give it to me, Steve. Give me the money. Because I'd be pretty damn happy shaking my ass off of a yacht drinking some tequila, okay?
Last night, I had a real life experience with a mean girl. A mean ass bitch. And I can't even, like, I just have never met a girl that is just so mean. For no reason. Okay? No reason. For context, yesterday I went to a concert with a guy that I like don't know. I've met him one time before yesterday. So I went to a concert with him and then 2 of his friends and their girlfriends. So I am on like a triple date with this guy that I don't know. And these girls know each other because they're dating. These guys who are friends, like they've known each other, like everybody's friends, whatever. I don't even know the guy that I'm with. Like, everybody knows this. So anyways, okay. So we go to a pregame at one of their houses, and I walk in, and the second I walk in, I knew it was going to be a bad night. Because the girls did not say anything to me. They just kind of like looked over, like, hey, continued on with their conversation, like, not friendly, not welcoming, whatever. I was just like, okay, these girls don't want to be my friend, whatever. But like, if I were in that situation, like, my guy friend or my boyfriend's friend brings a girl who knows nobody, I'm gonna be like super friendly, welcoming, try to make her feel as comfortable as I can, because that's a really uncomfortable situation to be in the first place, much less if the people are being rude. So whatever, I'm like, these girls don't want to be my friend, it's fine. Let me continue on with my night and just whatever. So we go to the concert. I sit in the very back of this car, like back of the bus. I am in the very last row, and I happily pulled the seat up, got in the back. Like, I didn't want no beef. Like, I'll get out of everybody's way. Just put me in the back and I'll shut up. So I get in the back of the car and everybody's talking, not including me, obviously, because why would you talk to the girl who doesn't know anybody, whatever. So I'm just in the trunk, basically. I mean, it was a seat, but like, I'm in the back. They start talking about me as if I'm not there. They were like talking to the guy about me and like making fun of me. And I was like,
the fuck? Like, hello, I'm right here. They said, Grwn, is she, oh, I just said his name, whatever, I don't give a fuck. They said, Grwn, is she even 21? Like, can she even drink? She looks like she can't even drive. Does she have her permit? They're like laughing about it. They're like, Grwn, I can't believe that you invited this little child. Bitch, I'm right fucking here. Hello, I can hear you. Why are you being mean? Like, literally no need. I'm just like sitting in the back, like, just kind of chuckling. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm 24. Bitch, whatever. So, moving on, get to the concert. I'm like brushing it off, like, move on with my night. I'm going for free. The guy's nice, like, whatever. I'm like, let me just have fun. Walking through security, and I am in the back of the line because I don't want to cause any problems, okay? Put me in the back. I'll walk behind you. I'll follow you. I'll do, like, I am a follower. I don't want any problems. So walking through security, and we get to the metal detectors, and there's like a long row of them. I go in and I get out first. So now I am like in the front. One couple gets out, they start walking, like continuing in the line, I follow. Then the guy, and then the other couple. Thought nothing of it. I'm in the middle now. We're the middle couple. Get in. The guy that I'm with steps away for a second. Like, he walks like a little bit further away so that he wouldn't hear. This bitch goes to her boyfriend and says, "That stupid bitch cut me off." Me? Me, stupid bitch? Me? What did I do to you? Because why did you hate me the second that you saw me? I wanted to cry. I was like, why? Why is this girl being so mean? I don't know anybody here. I'm already uncomfortable, and now that she's being a fucking meanie to me, I want to cry and I want to go home. This isn't fun anymore. But I couldn't go home because he drove everybody. So then if I was like, I want to go, then this whole group's got to leave, and then I got to deal with that. Did not want to do that. So, had to stick it out. I'm like, I bought like 10 beers because I was like, I need to just be drunk to get through this. Concert ends. Sorry, that was annoying. Concert ends. I try one more time to be nice and civil. I sit all the way at the end. I was like, I was walking down to the seating at the concert, and I was like behind her boyfriend, and I was like, you go first. I'm not sitting next to her man. Like, keep me the fuck away from that girl. End of the concert, so I don't talk to them at all during the concert. I'm like, all the way in the end. And then, after the concert, I tried one more time to be nice, and I tried to talk to her about her work and how I used to, like, do something similar. Now, she's like, she was a CPS caseworker, okay? And she was basically telling me that my county is, like, just, like, you don't see half the shit that I've seen in my county. Like, you guys are a bunch of rich people. Bitch, it wasn't even in my county that I did it, okay? It was at college. So, F you. I don't know why you're being such a bitch. She was a bitch the whole night, and then she made her man leave, and that was the end of her. The other girl was like, she was fine. She wasn't super welcoming and friendly, but she wasn't mean, which, that's all I ask. Like, just don't be mean for no reason, okay? Seriously, at our big age, like, why? Obviously, she was very insecure, and this is a reflection of her, not me, because I was very nice, trying so hard to be friendly. I'm in a weird situation, and I'm still being, like, I wanted to clap back at her, but the bitch was big. She would have SpongeBob Patrick outside the Salty Splatoon style. Like, she would have ate me up. So, yeah, I kept my mouth shut. And I was just trying to get through the night because she was a fucking bitch, okay? Sorry. And I've been told everybody this because I can't get over it. Because I'm like, that was the most insane thing that has ever happened. Because why did she just... I have done nothing to her and she just called me a stupid bitch. Okay? So, anyways, just don't be mean. And if she sees this, she won't because I'm probably going to make this private. And she would also never find this video. But if she does, she'll know who I'm talking about. You're built like a cheese wheel, girl. And you have serious problems. You're a bitch, okay? Love ya.